Welcome to News9 with me, Nabila. Here's a very special story that we have here today for your attention. Naveen is an employee with a tech firm. He has been working very hard for at least 10 odd years. Naveen worked with ITC Infotech for about 9 years, and first 7 years Naveen was a top performer of the company until after that something really strange happened. Naveen, who was one of the top performers, was celebrating. He organized a Kannada Rajotsava celebration at his office at ITC Infotech. He raised about quite a lot of money. When we say a lot of money to organize that event, he raised money from about 1,000 Kannada employees in the ITC Infotech firm. He asked permission from the ITC Infotech management, asking them if he can conduct a Kannada Rajotsava celebration, and after all that...
That's all I can tell you. Okay, so that's understood. I know what it is, he knows what it is, we know what it is.
Yeah,
that's discussing. Okay, so...
Here he asked ITC Infotech management if at all he could conduct a Kannada Rajotsava celebration, and the Infotech management actually permitted him. But they said no hoisting the flag of Kannada Rajotsava on the day, no hoisting the flag of the Karnataka flag there, can't be hoisted. All of that was said, but Naveen did abide by all of those rules. But despite abiding those rules, right after Kannada Rajotsava celebrations, very strangely, Naveen's management started acting very unusual with him. They were acting very strangely. His bosses didn't really talk to him well. He was sidelined for most part of it. And after Kannada Rajotsava celebrations that he organized in 2017, by 2018, Feb, the management calls Naveen and arbitrarily says that you are supposed to leave this organization. Naveen very shocked and surprised, wondering why he is supposed to be leaving the office and organization there, and asked the management why exactly is he being asked to leave by ITC Infotech. And right after he was asked, of course, Naveen was not very comfortable with leaving the organization without a logical explanation, logical answer there. He did retort and said that he will not leave the company without a valid explanation from the company as to why they're wanting him to leave. The company was allegedly unable to give any explanation. He continued to pursue and ask for some feedback, some explanation as to why he should leave. Company has not responded or replied to him even once, and then 6 months they put him on a bench. Did not communicate with him, did not react or respond to any of his questions as to why he is being sidelined. There was no reason. Naveen basically believes that because he celebrated Kannada Rajotsava in ITC Infotech, that's the reason why the management lost their cool. Even though they gave him permission, over time they became uncomfortable with Naveen and wanted him to go. If whatever the reason is, they have not answered to Naveen and they have not given Naveen a real reason, and out of frustration, eventually Naveen had to quit. Did you quit, Naveen? They terminated you. So Naveen was terminated for no fault of his, absolutely no fault of his. Let's quickly introduce him. And you're looking at visuals here of ITC Infotech's HR also. Okay, what's his name?
Abhinav.
If I can play that clipping right after I introduce our guests, let's play that clipping on what the HR had to say.
This is the Pradeep Mudliar, who is the facility head, who came and told about not to hoist the Kannada flag.
Okay.
That's the visuals what we have here.
Right. Okay, I have with me Naveen, who is a victim, joining us himself, and of course we have the Kannada Rakshana Vedike president, Mr. Praveen Shetty, also joining us. Tell us a little more. Naveen, quickly, also we have Mr. Syed, who is a former employee of ITC Infotech and also is part of the IT association, employee association here in Bengaluru, just to protect the rights of IT employees here in the Silicon Valley. Naveen, to tell us a little more quickly, why don't you explain what the real situation was? What really happened?
Elrigu namaskara. First thing, Kannadadalli ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ because ಇದು ಕನ್ನಡದ
function
ಇಂದ. Yes, I'll explain in English also. Like basically, I was started working in ITC Infotech in 2010.
Okay.
So from 2010, I started a vertical called automotive, which was not existing in ITC Infotech.
Okay.
And I got a lot of projects to them, a lot of customers from my contacts. And I was a top performer till 2017.
Okay.
I think probably I've given all the certificates. Every year I got a certificates, the awards.
Okay.
And I have been awarded for the highest award in ITC Infotech
Okay.
in 2015, which is called as Gold Club member. After 2016, in 2017, I used to see there is a lot of functions which is happening in ITC Infotech, like Christmas, like Onam. They used to celebrate in a big way. So I thought, like, why can't we do a Kannada, since we are in Karnataka, we are in Bengaluru, we'll have a Kannada people get together and do a cultural program. So that's where we started, and we have few groups. We created a WhatsApp group and collected almost 1,000 people came forward to give a contribution to this this function. Once this function has been started, it went. I went to organization management and asked for a permission. At that time, V. Srinivasan was the board member of the ITC Infotech. He called me and said that, see, you should not hoist Kannada flag. And he quite resisted on to the program itself. He said, you have to do very nominal, not do much programs. And I couldn't understand what he was meant about it. But
What do you think he meant?
probably he doesn't want to make it a big hit, or he wants to avoid this function and make it a small function and close it. And he literally said, we should not hoist Kannada flag.
Okay, hoisting Kannada flag, at the end of it, this is inside a campus that they're doing. A lot of people from across the globe are inside the same campus. We believe in one flag, India's flag. There's Kannada flag also that we respect as much. But at the end of it, some companies show a little resistance when it comes to hoisting a Kannada flag inside the premises where there are people from all across the globe. There are foreigners also who are working with ITC Infotech. So to that extent, a flag may have been an issue. But organizing Kannada Rajotsava celebrations, they allowed you. You have organized such a big celebration there. We saw visuals of the celebration.
Yes, I'll
Then
tell you,
what
like,
really went wrong?
See, in 2017, it went big. So that was the main issue, I guess, because after 2017, November, in February 2018, Venkataramana Daita is a manager of my department, came and said, you have to leave the company. And there was no intimation, not even a single email, not even a single reason. He said, you have to leave the company. And when I asked for a reason, he said, no, it is a management decision.
So you had no idea what was the reason?
No idea. Like almost 7 years, I was being a top performer and not even in a
We
dream.
saw certificates. Can we have the certificates of Naveen where for 7 years, he's been a top performer?
So even
Go on,
I do have.
Go on.
So after that, when I asked for a reason, he said management decision. Then I went all around the company with different people, different managers. Everybody was on the same page, including V. Srinivasan. So then I said, like, okay, there is something wrong, which is beyond what I'm thinking. So then I asked for a reason with sending a detailed email to CEO and CHRO, which is Anand Talwar, and Sushma Rajgopal, and at that time is the CEO. There was not even a single response from them, even from HR, even from CEO, for 6 months. And suddenly they moved me into the bench. When I asked for a reason for a movement, they said no. It's a management decision. I don't have any reasons for that. I asked whether there is any performance issues. There was no performance issue because even that year, I was a top performer out of the 3 solution consulting because I was working as a solution consulting as a program manager. And there were 3 people who were working in the same level with the different geos. Like I was working for a US and other gentleman called Swanand was working
Yeah,
for
we
US.
saw, I'm accessing your certificates. You have certificates from your company, 7 years, top performer, whatnot. So suddenly one day you celebrated Kannada Rajotsava and everything changed.
Everything changed.
You think that you may have committed some mistake that has led to this, but they are not willing
At
to
least-
say it, or at least say it, right?
At
You
least
are-
say, I'm ready to listen from them
True.
what is the wrong which I've done in that.
Absolutely.
And after that, I'll tell you where exactly I started believing that this is only because of Kannada Rajotsava, because in 2018, when these things are going on, I said, okay, we'll go back and ask for a permission. This time they said, no Rajotsava, you cannot do it. And they are not even giving a meeting. And this time they started abusing, they will not be giving any permission or something like that. Then I started, this I should not leave it, because only because of Kannada Rajotsava, that too in Karnataka, in Bengaluru, I should stand for it. That's the only reason I stand for 2018 and went ahead with Karave, Mr. Praveen Kumar Shetty, and asked for help to get a permission, nothing else, to get a permission from the company to do Kannada Rajotsava. That's when I went and asked for a permission, and they came here and gave a letter, permission letter. Actually, they asked for a company to support for this Kannada Rajotsava and also support these guys to do a cultural program. But after that, they gave a permission. After giving the permission, on 15th November, our function was on the 16th November, 15th November, they called, the police called me at night, 9 o'clock, which is from Pulakeshi Nagar police station. Mr. Firoz called me at night 9:30 for an inquiry. And again I was shocked, because I never knew that something could happen like that. So when I went there, they said, you are doing Kannada Rajotsava without permission of ITC Infotech. And
But
you are
what
doing-
is the police, does not know, the police know the rules? That
No,
that a person cannot be fired from his company for no logical reason? And he's saying that you're doing Kannada Rajotsava in the organization without the permission of the management. But here we're looking at visuals where you're having such a grand and organized celebration. How can you possibly do it without the management's permission?
that's-
ಈ ತರ ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಅವರೇ? ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಈ ತರ ಇಷ್ಟು ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ನಡೆಸಬಹುದಾ?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೂನು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಹೌದು.
ಆದ್ರೂನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಿಂಗಳಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೊರಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಅದು?
ಇದು ತೀವ್ರವಾಗಿ ಇದು ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ನವೀನ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ITCಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಆವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯ ನಟರಾದಂಥ ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಅವರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಂಗೀತ ಕಟ್ಟಿಯವರನ್ನ ಕರೆಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ ITC ಕಂಪ್ನಿಯವರು. ಆವಾಗ ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಅವರು ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉಗಿದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ITC ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ. ಎರಡನೇ ಬಾರಿ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡಿದವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಇವರು. ಅವ್ರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಯಾರು?
ITC ಕಂಪ್ನಿಯವರು.
ಪೊಲೀಸ್
ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಪುಲ್ಕೇಶಿ ನಗರ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ACP ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಗೇನು ಅನಿಸ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಹುಡುಗರನ್ನ ಬಂಧನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರಿ. ACP ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನವೀನ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಕನ್ನಡದ ಹುಡುಗನಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೊಡೆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಸುಮ್ಮನಿರಲ್ಲ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಬಂದ್ವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸ ತೆಗಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವರಿಗೆ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಪಿತೂರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ನೀರನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾಗ, ನಮ್ಮ ರೈತರ ಜಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ITC ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ರೈತರ ಜಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ITC ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ತಗೊಂಡು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಯುವಕನಿಗೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಗೆ? ಬರೀ ITC ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್
ಕಂಪನಿ ಆದ್ರೂ ಇರಲಿ, ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕಂಪನಿ or any other company,
ಇವತ್ತು ನಡೀತಾ ಇರೋದು,
you got to respect a person's the region, culture, the community, the language. And if you are in Bengaluru, you are in Karnataka, and you don't want him to celebrate Kannada Rajotsava, how fair is that? But you're saying they're celebrating Onam,
They're celebrating Onam, they're celebrating Christmas.
Christmas.
Inside campus, not even the campus,
ಏನಂದ್ರೆ
inside the office premises.
ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕು, ಆದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬೇಡ. ಕನ್ನಡದ ನಾವು ತಿನ್ನುವಂಥ ಊಟಗಳನ್ನು ಟೀಕೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನೇಕದನ್ನು. ಇವತ್ತು ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾತಾಡಿದರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇವರು ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೋಟಿಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ಲಾಭ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸದಿಂದ ಕಿತ್ತಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋರು ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ನೋವನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರನ್ನೂ ಮಾತಾಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸಲ್ಲ. ತಮಿಳವರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೋರ್ಡು ಮತ್ತು ಅವರೇನು ಕಮಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ CO ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವರೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ತಮಿಳವರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮಳೆಯವರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರನ್ನ ದೂಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ,
ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ
ಇರ್ಲಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ತಮಿಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಂತ ನವೀನಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಇದು ನಾವು ಕೇಳುವಂತ ನವೀನ್ ಒಬ್ಬರ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತು IT ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಯುವಕರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಈ ನೋವನ್ನ ತಿಂತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ 16ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಬೃಹತ್ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋರಾಟವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಿರಿಯ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರು, ಕನ್ನಡ ಪರ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು, ಸಾಹಿತಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ IT ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ ಮೇಲೆ, ಈ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಂಥ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಸವಲತ್ತನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ನೆಲದ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲಿಯ ಮಣ್ಣಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಅವರ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹಗರಣ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು.
ಈಗ ಫೈರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು ಇವ್ರನ್ನ. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ ಅನದರ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್? ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಟ್ರೈಡ್?
No, they are given a termination letter. They terminated without any reason. That's what I would say.
ರಿಲೀವ್
So
ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
you're trying hard to get.
Relieving ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
You're trying hard to get another job?
Yeah, nobody will give a job for me right now because the termination, they have to get the reason for that, right? Because if you get a relieving letter, then I can try for. And moreover, all 7 years, I've given all my contacts to company. All my contacts to company. And got the business for them.
All right, I'm going to keep you on hold there. We're going to slip in a short break. We're going to come back with 2 more techies joining us on the panel. One, Mr. Syed Mukim, and another, Mr. Vikram, who's joining us. Both of them have had their own experiences. Let's find out from them. I have Syed Mukim with us. Syed, thank you so much for joining us. We also have Vikram joining us. Both of them are techies as well. Syed Mukim, do you want to narrate your experience with ITC Infotech? And these are visuals in the center that we are showing you of Naveen being a top performer. He's been a star performer for about 7 years. First 7 years, he's got awards, he's got certifications, all of that. So really, there's no solid, valid, good reason for ITC Infotech to really quickly terminate him right after he decided to organize a Kannada Rajotsava event. The least they could have possibly done is that, you know what, Naveen, they don't want him to hoist the Karnataka flag. All right, you could still digest that fact, but get out of the company because you celebrated Kannada Rajotsava. Isn't that shocking? But the funny part is they've not even said the reason. They're very subtly, very quietly tortured him for about 6 months is what Naveen claims. Syed Mukim, you know about this case as well. What more can you add to this?
Thank you, Nabila. First of all, thanks for having us on the call. I mean, for me, to be very frank, this is not so shocking because we've heard of lots of similar cases. In fact, when we first came across Naveen's case, that was the first thing that I wanted to ascertain to what extent he is willing to walk, because it's going to be a very difficult walk when you're walking in a corporate world. Unfortunately, in this case, the entire corporate politics was based on regional and linguistic bias.
Which is very unfortunate, particularly when it happens to be that the individual is from the local
I think
state
there is a little bit of an issue with your audio, Syed Mukim. You please do stay with us. If I can ask my director to check on that. Naveen, Vikram, would you want to speak till then? What do you know about this case here?
So when Naveen approached us regarding his case, so we were seeing similar kind of situations where the local people were getting exploited because they are trying to project something out. But then no one comes forward because there's a future career growth in the picture, right? So no one wants to come up and speak about it. Naveen has taken a good decision. I mean, he's fighting for his right to organize a Kannada Rajotsava, being in a Karnataka state, right? So there has been exploitations across the domain. The ITES companies have been exploiting all the employees on the regional bias. I mean, if you have to look at the preferential treatment to the same linguistic backgrounds, or if you have to look at some of the reasons where you can bring in the linguistic feature into the picture. right? So now that's what we have been asking even the government, who's been talking about bringing in the Industrial Standing Order Act to the IT companies. So all these IT companies have enjoyed the blanket waiver. So none of the Industrial Act applies on to the IT companies, and none of us come under the labor laws because of this exemption. So now, if you have to go and talk about an association, I mean, we are all fighting on an individual cause. Now, if there was one gentleman from Infosys who asked, can I be a part of an association? So the reply from HR was, if you join an association, your productivity can hamper. So they are trying to subtly tell that don't join an association, there can be negative consequences for it. So there is no labor law, there is no association who can take up the case for them. So now we want this Industrial Standing Order Act waiver, which all the companies are enjoying, to be removed, so that all these things can be taken on a legal front as well.
Naveen, you run an techie association.
Right. Yes. We are
IT Employees Association.
Yes. All
And
India IT
are you
Employees
still with an IT company?
No.
Why?
I mean, my domain was different. I used to be working with the digital marketing domain, and now I have been freelancing on those front. But then coming from a techie background, helping a fellow techie is what I believe in now.
So how many members are there in the techie association, IT association that you have? How many members have registered?
I mean, currently we are a 50, but
50 members.
Yes.
Why do you think that is such a small number? Because techies are really going through a hard time, and we know that for a fact.
Right. I mean, see, the problem here is, even though the constitution says we can form an association, we can club together and do something, but these the educational background and the company HR policies don't allow someone to form an association. They don't allow any association to come into picture that, okay, there's someone who can question the authority now. These guys have been enjoying, I mean, from 2000, all the companies in Bangalore have been flourishing. Now, the situations are getting worse for them on the economy wise. Now that everything is slowing down, they don't want any authority to question them on, okay, what's happening, why are you firing this guy, why are you, I mean, they have their own...
So basically, arbitrary decisions taken by tech firms, and there's really no association that they're allowed to be associated in. And if at all they pour out their grievances to any association or union, then they stand at risk of being fired.
Right.
And here is the situation of Naveen, where he's trying so hard to understand, give me one reason. He's asking ITC Infotech, give me one reason why I'm being fired. But ITC Infotech does not have an answer, is what he claims. And we've tried contacting ITC Infotech. We tried contacting the HR, Mr. Abhinav. We also called him on the phone line. It's the number ain't connecting. We spoke to another one, Mr. Parimal. What's his name? Pradeep, beg your pardon. Mr. Pradeep, we just spoke to Pradeep on the phone line, and Pradeep says that he is not allowed to speak on this with this regard. We've also mailed them to get their response. We're waiting for a response from the company. Let's see what reason that they really have to detain you or to terminate you without a precise reason.
And
all right.
If I can add one more point.
They're asking us to contact Mr. Raghavan, who HR. Mr. Raghavan, have you spoken to Raghavan? Raghavendra.
Yeah.
What does he say?
Actually, when I gave a complaint to Deputy Labour Commissioner, he was the one who came for the hearing with along with Abhinav. So he's a Kannada guy. He came to function, and he knows that the previous day they gave a complaint against me, and I fought against those hurdles and did the program. And he appreciated me for doing this program. And
the
later,
HR?
He is not the HR. He is a department of that HR, and probably is into finance or something like that. So he appreciated this on the same day, and I called him on the stage and asked him to speak about it. And he gave a very good comment on the stage.
Yeah.
And later when he comes to the company part of it, he says that company is doing, he supported Kannada, and he knows that they tortured me in the last night in the
So he's
station.
your HR?
Not HR. He's the HR department. Like, actual HR is Abhinav.
Abhinav is not answering, but what this man...
He's part of HR.
Didn't he try helping you? He couldn't.
He couldn't.
He couldn't. Okay, this is absolutely shameful. If these allegations are true, we're trying to connect with the right people from ITC Infotech. But we're going to slip into a short break. But before that, we also have Sara Govind, who's joining us on the phone line. Sara Govind has been a pro-Kannada activist. He's also been part of the Film Chamber of Commerce here in Karnataka. Mr. Sara Govind, you know the situation here at hand. Naveen has been fired for organizing Kannada Rajotsava in his company, ITC Infotech. What more can you tell us? Yen helak ishtapadtira?
ನೋಡಿಮ್ಮ, ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ಇದನ್ನ ಸಹಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ನಿಂದ ಬಂದಂತ ಜನ ಇವತ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡದ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡವನ್ನ ಹರಾಜಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನವೀನ್ ಅವನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಂಪತಿ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವನು ಪ್ರೋ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕೆಲಸದಿಂದ ತೆಗೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ. ನಾಳೆ 16ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಇದೆ. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಾ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪರ ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಒದಗಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಂತಹ ರೀತಿ ನಡವಳಿಕೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಸಹಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಪಾಠನ 16ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ನಾವು ಕಲಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀರಾ ಐಟಿ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ? ನಾವು ಸಿಲಿಕಾನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿ, ನಾವು ವಿ ಆರ್ ದ ಐಟಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್.
ಯಾವುದೇ ಐಟಿ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಪಿಟಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಅಡ್ಡಿಪಡಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರು? ಅವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಅವ್ರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಿನ ಕನ್ನಡ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರಿ ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಭಾಷೆ ಜನ ಸೇರಿ ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡೋದದು. ಅದನ್ನ ಇವರು ವಿರೋಧ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇವರು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬರೀ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆದಾಯ ಲಾಭ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಯ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೌರವ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಸಹಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೋ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ 16ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು. ಅದು ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಏನೇನೋ ಯಾವ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತಾರೋ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ನವೀನ್ ಪರವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ನಿಂತು ನವೀನ್ಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ದೊರಕಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಈ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಜಾಬ್ ಇಂದ ಫೈರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ಯಾವ ತರ ನ್ಯಾಯ? ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನು ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಐಟಿ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ಗೆ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ವಾ?
ಐಟಿ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಾನೂನು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲ ಐಟಿಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದಂತೂ ಸತ್ಯ, ಅದನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸದಿಂದ ತೆಗೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅವ್ನು ಮಿಸ್ಚೇಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಅದು ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಅದನ್ನ ವಿರೋಧ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಆ ಯುವಕ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅವನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ.
Right. Sara Govind, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to slip into a short break. We'll come back with Syed Mukim. Quickly going over to Syed Mukim. Syed Mukim was also with ITC Infotech and he was also terminated, asked to leave because he joined a union and association in 2016, I suppose. Mukim, go on. We're hearing you. What was your experience with ITC Infotech and what was the response from the company?
Yeah. So in the year 2016, we wanted to hold the first employees meeting within the organization, and we had clearly stated that we wanted to bring the employees together, and there was nothing contradictory to the organization policies or anything to do with the company's performance or its brand image being affected. In fact, on the contrary, we were working along the lines of the labor union, the labor department's instructions and guidelines, that there should be an employee grievance committee formed, and all the citizens of India are at full freedom to form or join any union or association and take up any collective demands. In our case, we did not even want to take up any demands because there were none as such at the moment. All we wanted to do was get together, look out for each other's benefit and welfare, focus on each other's career program, progress and performance areas. And any employee that you speak to, the first thing that you would ask them is how happy are they with the performance management system. And then you can see that, that's when the can of worms gets opened, because the entire performance management system itself is flawed, is very arbitrarily done. There is no method, or there is no proper mechanism of understanding who is doing well, who is not doing well. Ask any HR, and the most dreaded thing that every year we would come across is the bell curve. And there's so many, jokes made about how the bell curve is imposed upon people so arbitrarily. The entire thing, as Vikram was mentioning earlier, about the waiver of the Industrial Standing Order Acts, that's affecting every IT employee very badly. Unfortunately, the case of Naveen is just one of the examples that was imposed upon the IT company immediately.
Syed,
we can see that
we have a little bit of a difficulty
the states of
with
Tamil Nadu,
connection.
the states of Andhra Pradesh, the states of Telangana have gone out and clearly stated that there is a need for having IT unions and associations to be set up. Unfortunately, Bengaluru and Karnataka being the hub of IT, the global IT, we seem to be dragging our feet on it. It's our demand that we want to get these things immediately brought in. You can imagine how many employees that are terminated have not had any source of succor or, getting rehabilitated. Take the case of someone who's been about 12, 15 years in an organization.
No, but many IT companies are a little wary about allowing you to join an association or a union, because at the end of it, they don't want the union to become stronger than the company, and then eventually, they take over when I say take over, they can muscle the company and hold them at gunpoint. Eventually, that's the fear that they may have, that they don't want to be heckled by an association that can be overpowering. So rather cut it right at the bud, finish the problem by chasing the person out. If they want to get into an association or a union, please leave the company. We don't want anything like that. That's still understandable. But what I don't, I don't know if it's understandable. I'm sure your plight is something that only you can understand. But what is all the more shocking for us is terminating a guy just because he organized Kannada Rajotsava. That is something I can't fathom. When they are able to organize Onam, they are doing Christmas, they are doing Eid, maybe they are doing every other festivity. Here it's not a religion that anybody is celebrating. They're only celebrating a region, and they're celebrating a region. They're celebrating Kannada in Karnataka, not in any other state. ITC Infotech office in Karnataka, Bangalore office. Naveen was sentimental. He loves the language, he loves the state, and we all do. He was only honoring his own festival. Kannada Rajotsava is nothing less than a festival for Kannadigas. So a small celebration, a cultural celebration he organized. He wanted to put up a flag. They didn't allow the flag. All right, still digestible. But the fact that he was terminated is something that I cannot understand. Why would a company as big, as reputed as ITC Infotech would indulge into?
And that's exactly what we want to bring to attention, that, there can be such frivolous grounds for someone's egos to be challenged, someone's egos being, pricked, and then this becomes blown out of proportions. And the entire reason all of this gets away with is because there's no labor policies, there's no labor laws to protect us. And I completely agree, and, I understand Naveen's predicament, that for his passion for Kannada and culture, something, we should be proud of, something that we would like to welcome all of the people that come from outside of Karnataka, outside of India, to experience, learn, and know what Kannada and its culture and its proud heritage is all about. It's very sad and unfortunate that someone had to pick this up and make an issue, someone's ego being involved and pricked, and then, making a issue of a personal vengeance to, make sure that somebody's position is shown or somebody's status is shown.
No, this is not right. You're in Kannada land, and you are going to stop a Kannadiga from having a small celebration, and they even allowed the celebration. So I don't know what really went wrong eventually. We are looking at visuals right on our screens that Naveen has provided, where it was such a successful, grand celebration. 1,000 odd employees in ITC Infotech are Kannadigas, at least more than 1,000. And all those 1,000 employees, small money that they contributed, they collected a fund, and through the employee fund, they conducted a nice Kannada Rajotsava celebration. The money was all employee funded. It was not 1 rupee from the management. So the event was a grand success. They should have been happy that employees are enjoying themselves in their own motherland, their mother state. Why did they suddenly become sour about it is what we don't understand. Did they become sour, Naveen, because people like Mr. Praveen arrived?
No,
Did they
even-
become
even
sour
before
because
that.
the Kannada Rakshana Vedike appeared in the celebration?
If that was the case, then there was no involvement of Karaway or any other organization in 2018 February, when they said to look out for a job. After 2017 successful Rajotsava which has been done. So nobody was involved in that. So when they have given the permission, when they did everything, and apart from this one, we have involved other state people also to participate in the program. It is not that we segregated them and we made only Kannadigas to participate in this.
You involved all the other employees from all
everyone,
different
everyone.
backgrounds and communities.
Whoever is interested, they paid, and for a program, other people also joined there and enjoyed the program, and we gave food for 1,000 people on the same day. The dinner was arranged for 1,000 people.
Wow, so such a grand celebration. That's what I'm asking. Once you were allowed to celebrate it once, the second time you wanted to celebrate it, why did they refuse?
No, even before that, that's what I'm saying. Even before that, in 2018 February, they said to leave the company. Then it started giving reasons, not even giving a reasons why they moved to bench or why they are trying to take me out of the company. They tried all the reasons, like how they want to do that, putting on the bench, showing that he is in a bench for 3 months or 6 months, and they can easily terminate me or send me out. So these reasons.
What does the bench mean in a IT
bench in the
setup?
sense like whenever there is no project or a billable project, they will be moved into a bench region where they can
There's
look
basically no work, so you sit there until there's work.
until there is a work. So that is a one
It's like an outstanding student.
one tool which every company uses to terminate people or take them out of the company.
So you would be allowed to come to the office,
Yeah.
but sit in a certain
Sit in
area.
a certain area. Not even I can speak to the reference people, like the involved people in the sales or anybody. All contacts was cut.
You couldn't even talk to your co-workers.
No, I could talk to co-workers, but the people whom I was to work for in the previous stint, all those contacts was been cut.
Naveen, did you try to get support from your co-workers? 1,000 odd employees who funded this Kannada Rajotsava celebration, did they support you? Support madilva ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಅವರು ಸಹ ರಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರು
ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಭಯ ಪಟ್ಟಿ
ರಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋದ್ರು.
Why did they torture him?
ಟಾರ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಸಹ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇರಲ್ಲ. 1,50,000, 1,60,000, 1,70,000 ಅವ್ರ ಕುಟುಂಬ ಅವ್ರ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂತ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೀವನ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಬೀದಿ ಪಾಲಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದನ್ನ IT ಕಂಪ್ನಿಯವರು ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಗಾ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಟಾರ್ಚರು ಎಲ್ಲ IT ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬಹುರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆ ನೋಡ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ನೋಡ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಊಟ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕು, ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾಗ ಬೇಕು, ನಮ್ಮ ರೈತರನ್ನ ಉಪಲಬ್ಧಿಸಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಆದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬೇಡ. ಇದು ಯಾವುದು ಕಲ್ಚರು? ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಕನ್ನಡ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೀವು 5-6 ವರ್ಷ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಟೂರ್ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹಣ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಆಚೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀರ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಹಾಗಾದರೆ? ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಬೇರೆ ಇಬ್ಬಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರನ್ನ? ಒಕ್ಕೂಟದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇದ್ದೀವಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ನಾವು ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು? ಇವತ್ತು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಡೆಪ್ಟಿ CM ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, CM ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ನವೀನ್ ಅವರಿಗಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾವು, ಬರೀ ನವೀನ್ ಅವ್ರು ಒಬ್ಬರೇ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನವೀನ್ ಅವರು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಏನು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮುಂದಿಟ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರನ್ನ ಬೀದಿ ಪಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಬಹುರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆಯವರಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಒಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಷೆಯವರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ.
ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ.
ಬಿಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ವೆರಿ ಪೊಲೈಟ್, ವೆರಿ ಹಂಬಲ್, ಅಮೇಜಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. Kannada food is next level awesome. Kannada culture is next level amazing. Kannada people are itself so polite. So if the least that you want to celebrate your community and Kannada Rajotsava, just the culture of Kannada in your campus, you've got permission once, but after that if you're terminated, it leaves a big question mark on ITC Infotech's intentions, and that's what we are uncomfortable with. We of course have KV Dhananjay, our Supreme Court advocate, joining us on the phone line. Going over to KV Dhananjay, our Supreme Court advocate. Mr. Dhananjay, please do enlighten us. We have a little bit of a problem here. Naveen has been working with ITC Infotech since 2010. He's an ace performer for 7 years. We've got certificates here of him being the star of the company and a great performer for 7 years. He's got certificates, awards, whatnot. And towards 2017, he realized that while the company was celebrating many other festivals like Onam, like Christmas, like Eid, and several other community festivals, he felt that Kannada culture was somehow sidelined, and he felt he wanted to organize a small Kannada Rajotsava celebration, and he did it, and he got permission from ITC Infotech as well. He involved at least 1,000 employees, Kannada employees, in the organization, and it was a grand success, more than what they imagined. And right after that, the company, he claims, has started to act very strangely with him after that. Immediately, in about 5 months' time, Feb 2018, they asked him to leave without any reason, arbitrary decision. And when he refused to leave, they put him in a bench for 6 months, not giving him any work. And eventually, out of no choice, the company, because he wasn't leaving without a logical reason, they terminated him, just like that. And in the midst of that 6 months, Kannada Rajotsava came the second year. He thought he'll have another small celebration maybe, because he was still confused whether the company was upset with him for that or not. So that's when he realized it is the reason that led to him being fired, that when he actually did decide to host a Kannada Rajotsava celebration the second time, the company called the cops, and the police inspector from Pulikeshi Nagar, Mr. Feroz, actually called him up, and they detained him as well. So to that extent, the company has gone to shut them up just because they wanted to hold a small function of Kannada Rajotsava. And today he stands without a job, with a termination letter, and no logical reason from the company, ITC Infotech. We've tried to get in touch with them. The company refuses to comment. In fact, they've not responded to him either. And now the case has gone to the Labour Department, the Chief Minister and whatnot. We'd like to know legal implications on this.
First of all, if the company does not want to comment on an ordinary labor issue, then I think more or less one will have to believe what Mr. Naveen says. Mr. Naveen is right there in your studio, right? He is there in the studio, right?
Yes.
Hello?
Sir, go on. Please go on. I couldn't hear you.
So, yes. Fact of the matter is, the company was required to explain, because the case Mr. Naveen is putting forth is not just about him. It's about the attitude of the company towards the regional language. So the company, assuming the company has intelligent people manning it, should have known that they had a public obligation to come out and respond. When a media organization is going to the company executives and telling them that this is the issue that the company is now implicated in, and that the company's response is desired, if the company says they will not respond, then they are only confirming tacitly the allegations that have been leveled against the company to start with. Number one. Number two, it so happens that I think there is an employment policy as far as a lot of IT sector companies are concerned. Now, if the IT sector companies are receiving any benefit from the government in terms of it being located in a certain zone and the government gives a certain benefits, then the government has already imposed a condition that there will be substantial recruitment of the of people that are proficient in the regional language.
Right.
Now, in the event such a condition was applicable to this company, and that this company has done what they have done, the allegation, assuming the allegation is true, then I think the government will have a great deal of leeway over the company, and the government could penalize the company in a very big way. That's as far as the government to company is concerned. But as far as the employee to company is concerned, I just want to know, because what Naveen says is more not just about him, but it's about the regional language, about Kannada. Are other employees willing to back him up, at least if not openly, indirectly? Are other employees
some employees tried to back him up. One who really went out of his way was eventually targeted, and that guy just gave up and quit the company because he didn't want anything to hamper his career. And a few others who did eventually feared and backed off, because it's all about the career. And they're like Mr. Praveen said, they get a salary of about 1,60,000, 1,70,000, that kind of salary a month, and they're feeding their entire family. They wouldn't go out of their way.
Well, okay. So I think we'll have to make a lot of assumptions in this story, because first of all, ITC, it's not a multinational company, it's an Indian company, and it's expected to be sensitive to the needs of the local community. Now, an allegation, the companies would not even want to face an allegation of this nature, let alone such allegations be true or false. Most companies would not even want to be seen as facing an allegation of that nature. And for a company facing an allegation and still not bothering to respond, I think that's really very disturbing. And I think Mr. Naveen has complained to the Chief Minister of Karnataka. What is required of the Honorable Chief Minister of Karnataka is to get his Labour Department to issue notices. I'm very sure most of these companies, very often sign pledges with the government in return for certain benefits from the government. And the government very often imposes conditions that in fact, have to do with recruitment of people proficient in the regional language, in Kannada specifically. Most of these conditions are specifically named Kannada, because I've received cases, there were a couple of people in the IT sector that had come to me pointing out that there were violations by so many different companies in the sense that they have not complied with such conditions and that I should take them on a public interest litigation. I did not have the time then. So I remember there are such clauses, number one. Number two, what Mr. Naveen should do is to independently sue this company, because I'm assuming the letter of termination does not explain any, does not provide any reason, and that there is no disciplinary inquiry or, this is not public service, this is not a public sector service, so disciplinary inquiry is not always necessary. So if the company is not giving any cause, and if it's a termination, then what he should be doing is to, he has other labor options available to him. But what we should also independently do is to go over to the city civil court and then to file a civil suit against this company on the ground of harassment. And I can tell you that is an independent cause of action, and so unfortunate that we don't see many actions coming on that front. Because most often our lawyers tell people that, look, please don't do something new.
Yeah.
But the problem is that there's nothing new about it.
What's unfortunate, Mr. Dhananjay, there's nothing to protect the rights of IT employees. And when a bunch of them started an IT employee association just to see if they can protect these employees who feel harassed, many of those employees have lost jobs just because they are associated with an association or a union. So can you clarify about a union and an association, employees not being allowed to join an association, and if at all they do, then they are terminated? That too is something that is very widely persistent in amongst IT setup here in Karnataka.
Correct.
Bengaluru.
So one thing I want to clarify is this: not every condition or situation needs to be covered by some statute. Now, statutes are laws made by the parliament or by the state legislatures in which they will take note of a certain mischief and they will prescribe certain remedies, and to those who violate the law there will be a punishment and so on and so forth, right? So not every situation or difficulty that we face has to be dealt with by a statute. Very often we have the civil law, we have the common law, which will take care of a large number of circumstances that we might get into. Now, Mr. Naveen has been terminated by his company, and Mr. Naveen can make out a case of harassment by his company, harassment on the ground that he was trying to organize a community, and then he was also trying to organize a community for the regional language. So that's in fact going to be such a strong ground in a civil court, and I can tell you, if any lawyer tells him that it can't be done, he should just assume that the lawyer doesn't know much of a law and then go over to another lawyer.
Mr. Dhananjay, do stay with us. I'll ask Naveen. Naveen, have you taken this to court?
Yeah, it has been given to Labour Commissioner. From Labour Department, they have called for 3 negotiations, but company didn't respond it. So they made it an industrial dispute and given it to a...
Okay, please tell this to Mr. Dhananjay. Yeah. Mr. Dhananjay, you heard this. The Labour Department had the case. They called the company for negotiations because he's lost his job at the end of it. They called the company for negotiations and the company did not respond on all 3 occasions. And eventually what happened?
They made it an industrial dispute and they're forwarding it to the court.
Okay, so the Labour Department made it an industry dispute.
That is, like I said, there is a positive law or there is a statute, and the statute is being invoked, right? So that's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about is please invoke the common law, because the common law is something that's more efficient in these circumstances, and the statutory remedy is not going to punish the company in a big way. Now, if you take the company to a civil court And if you were to sue the company, and then if you claim, why don't you claim 100 crore rupees in damages from the company? Because at the end of the day, I'm very sure there will be a substantial number of Kannadigas that are working in that company. And when you lay out an allegation of this nature before the civil court, I can tell you the civil court is going to take the matter very seriously. And there are something like discovery provisions under our civil procedure code. 99% of our lawyers don't ever use it in their entire career. And under those provisions, you could always request for internal documents from the company that would show the thought or, what was the real reason for them to terminate you. If there were SMSs back and forth between different executives, if there were emails, in which they were sharing their concerns, hypothetically, and saying that this person is doing this for Kannada and we can't tolerate it or something like that, I can tell you they will be running for cover.
They're not saying anything. Mr. Dhananjay, will you stay with us, please? I'm going to hold you. I'm going to play this small clipping, a sting video between Naveen and the HR, where the conversation was, why am I being terminated? And the HR has really nothing much to say apart from just please go find a job. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen.
Yes.
It was delayed, you put your spoke at the right spot, outcome came. That's all I can tell you. Okay, so that's understood. I know what it is, he knows what it is, we know what it is.
Yeah,
That's discussing. Okay, so and flag hoisting is not done anywhere, any other company, individual. And one more thing is, we are only Infotech, we are not ITC. Even ITC is not doing that. Okay, ITC even then it was doing it in Clark Institute outside the campus. They never hoisted a Kannada flag. Because I am here there. I am in the organization.
Because
Clark Institute, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗ last time ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು. I know, because when they go, they call me. I go to.
ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳೋದು. Okay, why they are taking it so delicately? Because flag hoisting ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Half hearted ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. I have taken it full hearted. Okay, I am ready to take it with the management. Let them come up with whatever. Because ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾವುಟ ನಾವು ಅಂಟಿಸೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ? ಯಾಕೆ? Why? Let them give a proper reason why we cannot flag hoist. Why we cannot hoist flag?
This is beyond my.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು.
They do it after 5 o'clock. Okay, it is very good. We'll also participate wherever whoever is available will be there. The thing, flag hoisting will not. We will hoist Indian flag, like how ITC also does. We are tenants over here. This campus belongs to ITC, so we cannot.
Even ITCಗೂ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಹಂಗ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ they appeal to ITC also, saying that why we cannot. If the approval has to be taken.
What is happening here is we also don't have a foothold here. Keep that in mind. We are only a 100% subsidiary. Here everything is ITC. I'm telling you, everything is ITC. Even if I have.
We heard that. Naveen, would you want to explain what was that conversation?
So this was a 2018 program when I went for a permission. He said
permission
for the function.
Okay, for Kannada Rajotsava. And what
this was 2018.
Okay,
he said there was a resistance and you put a right spoke. That's what he said, because we get a letter from Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. He said that is the right thing you did to get a permission, otherwise you would have not got it. So that was the first sentence he says. And second sentence he says you should not hoist a flag. And you cannot bring in anybody inside the campus. So that is the conversation, and he says in this one, you can do the function. So this is the permission which is given 1 month before that.
So that's good, no?
Yeah, but later they gave a complaint on previous day of the function, saying that I have not got a permission and I'm doing the Rajotsava.
Okay. Mr. Dhananjay, this was an audio clipping of the HR speaking with Naveen, where he's asked for Kannada Rajotsava permission, celebrations to happen. He's asked for permission from the management. In this video, the HR says, yeah, no problem, you can do it as long as you don't hoist the Kannada flag inside the campus and as long as you don't get external people inside the campus. He said okay, and it was agreed upon. But when he was due to actually organize the celebration in a few days' time, he got a call from the police inspector from Pulikesh Nagar, who said that the company has told the police that he has not been given permission. So lucky for Naveen, at least he has this video where the HR is saying you can do it, but the police had a different message from the company saying that not. So it looked like the company really deliberately drove him away. They tried to trick him.
Yes, first of all, the police, nobody should be calling up the police, and the police ought not to be taking instructions from any IT company. If the company had a problem with what they had, whatever problem they had, if they would not put that problem in writing, I can tell you such a company would be a bane to society. If a company had a problem with flag hoisting, one would have expected the company put it down on paper and say that this is a problem that we have and this is why we request you not to do it. Now, if they have a problem, but they would not articulate the problem, they would not express the problem in writing, that's when such companies will be on the receiving end when you sue those companies in civil courts. And maybe Mr. Naveen should move the civil court and then sue this company for about 100 crores.
Mr. Dhananjay, go on. You're saying he must sue the company for 100 crores.
Yes.
That's heavy.
By the way, he doesn't have to stop at 100 crores. He could in fact request a much
Can I have volume please of the phone line?
Yes,
Yeah,
he could sue the company for a much bigger sum. It doesn't have to be merely 100 crores. But it's unless and until something of that nature happens, I don't think the companies, not necessarily this company, companies would in fact, evolve or for that matter change their behavior. Now, why did the police even get involved? Could not the police tell this company, sir, you're dealing with your own employee?
Right, Mr. Dhananjay, do stay with us. Mr. Dhananjay, quickly going over to the HR of Infotech, ITC Infotech, Mr. Raghavendra. Mr. Raghavendra, can you hear us?
Hello, who's on the line?
This is Nabila here, Mr. Raghavendra. We're calling from NEWS9. We just wanted to get an understanding of Mr. Naveen's case. Mr. Naveen MN, who's been fired from ITC Infotech because he allegedly...
Oh.
All right. Okay. That's fine.
That's again bad.
Mr. Dhananjay, you heard that?
Yes, that's bad. And why do people hide in this manner? Assume for a moment they've made a mistake and they've realized they've made a mistake because it's now become public knowledge. Why can't they just own up to their mistakes and say...
I know, what is the big deal? Explaining what is the reason that he's been terminated. At least say it, that you organized Kannada Rajotsava. That's why we're finishing this association with you. At least say it so that it will settle him. It will give him some peace. If not for anything.
It is that whatever deception that might have taken place, that deception must be uncovered, and the best way to uncover that is if Mr. Naveen would go to a civil court, and I'm very sure a number of lawyers that practice in the civil court would be watching this program. They could perhaps get in touch with Mr. Naveen and an example should be set. That's because if companies are going to be scared that their internal, internal discussions that are not for a good purpose are going to become public knowledge tomorrow because courts will require those documents, I can tell you a lot of companies will behave well. And we won't have a problem of this nature. But I think at the end of the day, I'm very sure this problem has just come out in the open. So, we've seen violence.
He's been fighting with the ITC Infotech for a year now, Mr. Dhananjay. It's not a new issue to them, but they're indifferent.
What I meant to say is, you're a very big media house. Now, that you have covered it.
Yeah.
So, what we have seen in such cases which receive media attention is that a number of organizations will then start agitating, and I'm only requesting that any such agitation that might take place in the coming days ought not to get violent. And for that reason, I would also request the government to take a far more proactive stand.
Mr. Dhananjay, we have in the studio with us Mr. Praveen Shetty, who is the KRV president. He's right here with us. He says that they are going to have a massive protest with this regard on the 16th of October. Your advice?
Oh, okay. My advice is this. I think all Kannada organizations, to the extent they are going to protest, I think they have a right under the constitution and to go out and peacefully protest. As far as that is concerned, no one could in fact take objection to that. But I'm only requesting that to prevent all of these protests from snowballing into violence, the government should not wait until 16th. I mean, we are I think 5th of October today. The government could always step in, take a far more proactive stand and find out who are the people in the ITC, this particular company, that have taken this stand which they are not willing to explain, which they are not able to explain. You see, if you fire somebody that's been working with you since 2010, and if you don't have a good reason that you can articulate, then people are going to believe these allegations and they are going to feel very wrong.
Absolutely.
And I don't think the government should wait to see.
And more importantly, it's about creating a sense of fear amongst all those 1,000-odd employees with ITC Infotech who are Kannadigas.
Yes, exactly. And I can tell you, Nabila, there is so much of activism by certain Kannada groups. They've been instrumental in breaking the monopoly of the industry that was preventing dubbing. They've been able to secure dubbing into Kannada, and they've been able to get lots of banks to start transacting in Kannada, and there has been a very, very vocal movement on social media, and I'm very sure that they too will join hands for all the proposed protests. But I don't think anyone should be waiting for those protests to take place and then face the risk of some of those protests turning into violence and then wanting to do something. Government should be proactive, and this is not a difficult problem for the government to solve. Perhaps the government, someone in the responsible position in the government can talk to the company and the executives and then perhaps find out what really went wrong there. And if the allegations made by Naveen against the company can be established that well, then I think that the company should be asked to apologize in writing and then to ensure that this does not repeat.
Absolutely. Mr. Dhananjay, I have Praveen, Mr. Praveen Shetty, like I said, Mr. Praveen Shetty has also a few questions that he may want to ask about many of the IT firms in Karnataka and Bengaluru not wanting to celebrate Kannada Rajotsava. They are a little hesitant about it or are very itchy about it, according to him. Let me hand it over to Mr. Praveen. Praveen, our Supreme Court advocate now, our advice kodadu, it's 100% accurate. So you can ask him, what is the rule under this IT rule? Is there any rule not to celebrate a certain community festival or what? And what are your allegations?
Sir, namaskara.
Namaste, sir.
ಸರ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ITCಯಲ್ಲಿ 6,000 ಜನ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ 1,000 ಜನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿಯ ಜಾಗ ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವೇ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ, ನಾವೇ ತಿಂತೀವಿ, ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ತಿನ್ನಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರ ಹೋಟ್ಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ, ಕೆಲಸದಿಂದ ಟರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲಸ ಕೇಳೋಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು? ಎಲ್ಲ ಇವರು ನವೀನ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ITC ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ IT ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನೋವು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಕೆಲಸದಿಂದ ತೆಗೆಯುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲಸನೇ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವು ಕಾರ್ಖಾನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಕೆಲವು ಮಲ್ಟಿನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ITಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಆ ರೀತಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಸರ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ಎಚ್ಚರಗೊಳ್ಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 16ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಬೃಹತ್ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ITC ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ನಾವು ಧರಣಿ ಸತ್ಯಾಗ್ರಹವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಸರ್, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಅದು. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಅನೇಕ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳು ಅವರು ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸವಲತ್ತುಗಳನ್ನ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತವೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಒಂದು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ವಿಧಿಸಿದೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗಳ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಮೇಲೆ. ಏನಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ the preference will have to be accorded to locals ಮತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಸಚ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಂಡ್ ಎರಡನೇದೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ ಸನ್ನಿವೇಶಗಳು ಸಾಧಾರಣವಾಗಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲಿಗೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಜನರಲ್ ಅಲಿಗೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಯಾರು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನಾಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗನ ಜೊತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಹಿರಂಗ ಆದಾಗ ಅದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋರಾಟಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಒಂದು ಹಾದಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So Nabila, it becomes much more effective when something like this gets exposed, so that I think it's a good thing that Naveen has fought, because I'm very sure a lot of others would not have fought in a circumstance like this. They would have said, okay, chalo, what's the big deal? We seem to be getting some amount of money as salary, the economy is down and the opportunities are not that good at other places. Let's just tolerate whatever, bad policies the management might have. But I can tell you, when any company that, in fact, because India is a place where you have where you have diversity in every little pocket. Now everybody, if you set up a company in Assam, you're expected to be very sensitive to the needs and then the feelings of the Assamese people. If you set up a company in Bangalore, then if you have such policies wherein you say you will not allow flag hoisting, I can tell you, they are in fact really making it so worse now. I'm anticipating that the Kannada organizations are going to get very agitated over this, because this is not going to be the action of a responsible company.
And Mr. Dhananjay, you're saying there are set guidelines and rules for IT companies also to respect the law of the land. And when I say law of the land, respect the community sentiments of the land?
Yes, there are. I have personally seen certain clauses wherein when companies have received benefits, you see, where they were setting up in certain zones, and the government had given concession in stamp duty registration, and the government had given certain other concessions. Now, what will the government get in return? So whatever the government gets in return, there is most often a clause that says preference shall be accorded to the Karnataka people in employment. And, I told you, unfortunately, I tend to be so busy with so many different things. A couple of people had come to me and I was slightly bit disappointed with myself, with my own schedule, that I was not able to accommodate them. They had come with a long list of different companies' names that have been violating those clauses. I wish I had, in fact, taken up that issue, and probably, I think, I look forward to another opportunity to,
Well, I think we have our people here. They've already done a recce. Mr. Praveen Shetty already has an idea about the number of companies who are not complying to that. Flag hoisting, I don't know. They said you can't hoist the flag. Is that also a violation under that clause?
First of all, why would they say do not hoist a flag? To start with, entire state of Karnataka celebrates Kannada Rajotsava on the 1st of November. And when they celebrate the Rajotsava on the 1st of November, one symbol that stands out is the Karnataka flag. Why is it, when it's Kannada flag it is technically. So why would companies say, companies that are in fact situated right in the heart of Bangalore, and say, no, we don't want to do anything with the flag, we don't want to do anything with the symbol of Karnataka. I think, first and foremost, that's actually terribly dishonest. If you are a company and then you want to, send out a message that you value the community, this is what you do. Should not companies because it's not like this is a company from some faraway country. ITC is still an Indian company, right? Should they not be more sensitive to the needs of the community, to the needs of the...
But shockingly, we're looking at how ITC is least bit bothered to respond. They do not care. You saw how the guy just hung up. He's just like, I don't care, do what you guys want. We're going to stick by our policy.
Now, it's possible that they also have become very scared. But then again, if they have really become that scared, why don't they admit to their mistake and say, okay, we made a mistake?
I think they feel that silence is better right now and this issue will pass.
Okay. Maybe I think that they would be terribly mistaken, because I don't remember the last time I was on television talking about these issues, because most often everything gets resolved quickly. So if something has come to the point where it's being debated on television, then I can tell you the people there at ITC are terribly fools. If they assume that this matter is going to die down, it's not going to die down. It's only going to get worse for them going forward, particularly because they are quiet, which means they are tacitly confirming the allegations against them, number one. Number two, it's also necessary to find out why would anyone make an allegation, unfounded allegation of that nature. Now, let's assume for a moment, okay? Now, hypothetically, if Mr. Naveen had committed some misconduct and then he wanted to disguise that misconduct and he instead wanted to say that the company has fired him simply because he wanted to celebrate Kannada Rajotsava, if that was a circumstance, then we would have had these company people come forward and say, wait, you're mistaken. Look, here is the letter that we have given him. This is a misconduct that we spotted in him, and then this is the reason why we have terminated him.
But they don't have any, they have not given any explanation, so they have no explanation now.
Exactly. For that reason, I have no difficulty in castigating that company on air and telling that company seems to be terribly on the wrong here, number one. Number two, as responsible companies go, they must mend their conduct. You see, they shouldn't just wait for things to snowball into a very big controversy. And it's not the only IT company. There are lots of other IT companies in Bangalore, and I don't know what they might be doing on a Saturday evening. But if they are in fact watching this, it's important for them to come together and then perhaps to counsel this company and tell that this company might have been on the wrong. So when you're on the wrong on a matter of this nature, what's the harm? Just admit to wrongdoing.
Absolutely.
And
Mr. Dhananjay,
do not repeat it.
Yeah, there's one quick question. Syed Mukim, do you want to quickly go ask our Supreme Court advocate about the association and union laws? We barely have half a minute, but we'd really like to touch upon that. What is it like if you join an association or a union? Mukim, you want to go on?
Thank you, Mr. Dhananjay. I really appreciate your time coming on here. It's been an extremely hard journey for any IT employee to even express the thought that they want to join a union or an association. They are considered to be very dreaded words. In fact, the kind of perception that is built is that unions and associations are for the blue-collared employees. We have to remind people over and over again that this country has got IAS Officers Association, there's an IPS Officers Association, there is Defense Officers Association. In fact, Article 19(1)(c) of Indian Constitution gives every citizen the fundamental right. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not from the legal profession.
Right, Mr. Dhananjay, hang on, Mukim, hang on. I think Mr. Dhananjay is not able to hear you. Mr. Dhananjay, what he says is IT employees are threatened if they join an association or a union, and even though they want to join, the company usually demotivates them. What is there any provision for these employees, because they want to protect their rights as well? And like Mukim says, there's an IAS officers association, there are several other associations, but companies, IT companies usually act like associations and unions are only for blue collared workers.
First of all, the Constitution of India gives to every set of employees the right to form an association. And if the IT companies, the onchos of these companies are trying to prevent an association, then that is a great evidence that they are doing a lot of things that are not proper. Because why would anybody fear an association? They would fear an association only if they're not following certain laws or they're not being good in their conduct. There is no harm. And there is nothing illegal about forming an association, because you cannot have a law that says don't form an association, it would be illegal. You can't have a law like that in this country. There is no such law. And all of these people, to the extent they wanted to form an association, but that was like, people were, unwilling to get into the association, I think they must regroup and retry again. And if they find someone is creating an impediment, again, go to a civil court, name the companies that are creating difficulties, and please sue these companies. And it so happens that, these companies have never seen such civil suits, and they will mend their ways when the moment they see such civil suits, because such civil suits can make the internal deliberations of the company public. People will then be scared in these companies that, oh my God, whatever trail messages we leave between ourselves could all become public knowledge tomorrow. So I think the IT sector employees have to organize. It's not enough to just take home a salary of 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs. You must also live with dignity. And the manner in which these companies are conducting, I don't think the employees could claim that they are living a life of dignity. I think they should form an association.
That's great.
It's absolutely necessary. And I'm very sure if there was an association, that association would have people from all languages and communities, and they would have come together and acted in support of Mr. Naveen.
Right. Mr. Taneja, thank you very much for joining us and clarifying all those details. You're going on a protest, Mr. Praveen Shetty?
ಹೌದು, 16ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರು, ಸಾಹಿತಿಗಳು, ಚಿತ್ರನಟರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ITC ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥದ್ದೇ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು CO ಪೋಸ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಚೇರ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಅವರೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ
ಟಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೀರಾ? ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದೆಮ್? ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ಯಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸ್ತೀವಿ, ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ನಿಮ್ದು ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ, ನೀವು ಯಾರು ಓನರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸಂಜೀವ್ ಪುರಿ ಅವರು ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಚೇರ್ಮನು, ಅವ್ರು ಗಮನ ಹರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಏನಿವತ್ತು ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗಿದೆ ನವೀನ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಸರಿಪಡಿಸಬೇಕನ್ನುವಂತ ಒತ್ತಾಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ.
Sorry means you want to be taken back into the company?
Yeah, it's like
or you want to get relieved with a logical reason?
See,
quickly.
Overall it has to be taken back, because I don't get any job after all these things.
Right.
Nobody
you might not
will
get anywhere else.
So you
want
I
to be
need to be
taken
secured.
back.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. On that note, thank you very much. We've gathered a lot of this information. Let's see where it goes. On the 16th of October, they're going to hold a massive protest right outside ITC Infotech. We're going to follow up on that. Thank you very much for watching us.